At 7,000 feet in the Peruvian Andes on a mountain ridge surrounded by sheer green peaks, lies the most spectacular archaeological site in South America, Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas. The Inca Empire lasted from AD 1438 to just 1533, less than a century. Yet in that time it became the largest empire in the pre-Columbian Americas, centered in Peru but stretching across 6 modern nations. The Incas were the last of the advanced native societies of the Andes before the arrival of the Europeans, and their greatest architectural achievement would be built not in their capital, but on a remote mountain ridge hidden from the world. Machu Picchu lies 300 miles southeast of Lima and 170 miles northwest of Cusco, the capital of the Inca Empire. It was built not for accessibility, but for something far more important. For 400 years, Machu Picchu lay hidden, known only to a few local farmers. The Spanish never found it, the world forgot it, the city waited. Then in 1911 came Hiram Bingham, director of the Peruvian expedition of Yale University. Led by a local farmer named Melchior Arteaga, he hacked through the cloud forest to find a city the world had forgotten. Bingham was the first to call it the Lost City of the Incas, the title of his best-selling book. In 1913, National Geographic dedicated their entire April issue to the site. The world had found its new wonder. Bingham at first believed he had discovered Vilcabamba, the jungle refuge of the last Inca rebels, described in 16th century Spanish chronicles. He was wrong, but what he had actually found was far more extraordinary. Machu Picchu was built between AD 1460 and 1470 by Pachacuti Inca Yupanqui, the founding father of the Inca Empire. He chose this remote mountain ridge for a reason that still eludes us. The complex covers half a square mile and is divided into 3 distinct districts: agricultural, urban, and religious. A stone wall separates the farming terraces from the city proper. Each district had its own function, its own architecture, its own purpose. The agricultural district is a masterpiece of landscape engineering, a series of terraces that utilize the natural slopes, functioning as both cultivation platforms and retention walls to prevent erosion on the steep mountain terrain. The area includes small, humble dwellings occupied by the farmers who worked these terraces, the people who fed the sacred city that rose above them. Crossing the wall into the urban district, the sophistication rises. Here stood the Intellectuals Quarters, where Inca wise men lived and taught, and the 3-windowed temple, its large trapezoidal windows gazing onto the main plaza. At the lowest point of the complex, a granite outcrop has been carved into the shape of an Andean condor, wings spread, sacred messenger between earth and sky. Bingham misunderstood the niches nearby as a jail. They are part of this temple. The religious district centers on the Sacred Plaza, the scene of Inca ceremonies, surrounded by the most significant and sophisticated architecture at Machu Picchu. This was the spiritual core of the city. The Temple of the Sun is a semicircular construction cut into the solid rock, a masterwork of Inca stonemasonry. Its 2 windows facing east and north allowed precise measurement of the winter solstice, the turning of the sun. The main feature of Machu Picchu, the one that has amazed countless visitors, is the quality of the massive stone walls, constructed without mortar, using neither the wheel nor draft animals, and they have a challenge for you. The polygonal masonry in these structures locks together so precisely that it is impossible to fit even the thinnest knife blade between the joints. No mortar was used. Each stone was custom cut to fit its neighbors perfectly. Most of the buildings were constructed of granite blocks, possibly cut with bronze or stone tools, and finally smoothed with sand. Each polygonal block is unique, custom shaped for its exact position in the wall. How did they move these enormous blocks of stone? The general belief is that they used workers from across the empire, levering stones onto smaller spherical rollers, then rolling them forward, moving the back rollers to the front as they progressed. No wheel, no animals, only human. This polygonal design is not merely beautiful, it is brilliantly functional. Peru is earthquake country. The interlocking stones, each leaning slightly inward, absorb seismic shocks and settle back into position. The walls have survived 500 years of earthquakes. The quality of the masonry is so exceptional that some have speculated about laser technology, lost ancient civilizations, or extraterrestrial visitors. The truth is perhaps more impressive. The Incas had professional architects, generations of accumulated knowledge, and the organized labor of an entire empire. Inca architects were experts at adapting construction to the natural landscape. Existing rock formations were incorporated into buildings. Sculptures were carved into living stone. Water flowed through channels that followed the mountain's natural contours. The city grew from the mountain. At the highest point of the Sacred Plaza stands the Intihuatana, the Hitching Post of the Sun, a column of granite rising from a massive pyramidal base, carved from the living bedrock. It is the most mysterious construction at Machu Picchu. The Intihuatana is thought to have functioned as a solar observatory, its granite column the gnomon of a sundial. At the winter solstice, the shadow cast by the central stone aligns perfectly with the carved angles. The sun was measured, the sun was honored, the sun was symbolically tied. Inca priests gathered here at the winter solstice. As the shadow aligned, they performed a sacred ceremony, symbolically tying the sun to the stone, preventing it from disappearing entirely. The hitching post of the sun was the anchor of the Inca cosmos. The Incas worshipped Inti, the sun god. The emperor himself was believed to be descended from the sun. The Intihuatana was not merely an astronomical instrument, it was the place where heaven and earth, God and empire were bound together. Machu Picchu was not built where it was by accident. The city is aligned with sacred mountain peaks, the Apis, the spirits the Incas worshipped. The Intihuatana stands at the center of a cosmic design where the sun, the mountains and the city meet. What was Machu Picchu actually for? Was it a great Inca city with a large, thriving population? Probably not. The evidence points elsewhere. Bingham's excavations revealed 135 mummified corpses, 109 of which he identified as female. From this, he concluded Machu Picchu was a refuge of the Aklas, the Inca virgins of the sun, women dedicated to religious service. However, more recent analysis of the skeletons has revealed that they were evenly divided between males and females. Bingham's theory of the virgins of the sun was incorrect. The true function of Machu Picchu was more complex. The current theory is that Machu Picchu was a ceremonial city, a royal estate and religious sanctuary for Inca royalty, priests and priestesses. Only about 1,000 people lived here at any one time. It was not a city, it was a retreat from the world. And then, the city was abandoned. Machu Picchu lay deserted, its temples silent, its terraces empty. What happened? Theories are numerous: drought, a disastrous fire, evacuation during Inca resistance to the Spanish. But the most viable explanation is deadlier. Before the Spanish even reached the Andes, their diseases arrived first. Smallpox swept through the Inca Empire. By 1527, half the population had fallen. The government began to collapse. Civil war erupted. In the chaos, the sacred city, already isolated, already vulnerable, was simply left. The Spanish never found Machu Picchu. It lay hidden in the cloud forest, its buildings intact, its temples silent. A city that had been loved and then lost, waiting to be remembered. Today, Machu Picchu is Peru's most visited tourist attraction and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. But the volume of visitors, tramping across the same stone paths the Incas walked, has raised serious concerns. In 1998, UNESCO added Machu Picchu to its list of endangered World Heritage Sites, not from natural disaster or war, but from the sheer pressure of mass tourism. The city that survived 500 years of earthquakes now faces a different threat. In September 2000, a film crew shooting a beer commercial at the Intihuatana, where Inca priests once worshipped the sun, lost control of a 1,000-pound crane. It toppled onto the sacred sundial, breaking off a sizable piece. Criminal charges were filed. And in 2005, the same year Machu Picchu was twinned with the ancient city of Petra in Jordan, Peru began a legal battle for the return of thousands of artifacts removed from the site by Hiram Bingham 90 years earlier. The city was found, but not everything has come home. Machu Picchu, the lost city of the Incas, is lost no longer, but its engineering still amazes, its enigmas still puzzle, and its stones still hold the silence of the people who built it, worshipped here, and then walked away, leaving their greatest achievement to the clouds.